Hi Gemini, I'm so excited to get into your April 2023 tarot reading because I haven't caught up with you since Mars left your sign, since Mars left Gemini. Whew, that probably feels like a huge relief for you. Your reading looks bomb so far. I'm just so excited. The Queen of Pentacles. We also have the Ten of Pentacles. These are really big cards around security. And yes, of course, financial security. That's what the Ten of Pentacles is. It is nothing more sometimes than just that material abundance and prosperity. But the Queen of Pentacles is so much more than that. The beginning of April sees you in a place where it just feels really secure. If you are into the chakra system, and we kind of have the color that this lady, this queen is wearing, the color of the root chakra. And it's so important for the root chakra to have that pool of energy flowing around there rather than being blocked or stagnant, so that we can spiritually springboard from the base, from a very comfortable and secure place into our wildest dreams and our kind of most far-reaching goals. But at the beginning of the month, you're in your happy place, you're in your safe space. You have created a safety for yourself, and above all, it just feels really secure now that Mars has left your sign. Mars was transiting through Gemini, and that has been since August 2022, all the way up until March 2023, the end of March. Typically, Mars zips through a sign for 6 weeks, but it was a 6-month plus stay in Gemini due to the fact that Mars went retrograde. And Mars is everything about how we take action, our will to do, our effort, our physical movements, our energy levels. And Mars is also the god of war, so there could have been more conflict, strife, or tension in an area of your life, Gemini, from August until March, and now I guess you're breathing a sigh of relief. We're going to clear up the Queen of Pentacles and pull more cards and go deeper into where this security is coming from, how you can provide for others now, how you feel so good about yourself that you're finally in a position to say, I'm doing so well. People are meeting you and greeting you and really affirming that to you. Gemini, you look amazing. You look so happy. You look like you are just like in the throes of life and feeling so abundant. And I guess things have been exciting for you recently, and you seem happy. And I love to see that for you, because if you remember our last month's reading in March, I could really tell that you had come out of something. You went through something really difficult a little while ago, and March was that turning point where you were still feeling licking the wounds there, but now April just really seems to be more than a rebirth. It's rewards. The Ten of Pentacles. Yes, financial rewards could come through. You may notice that after around the 11th of April even, a bigger breakthrough comes for you. There is a Jupiter and Sun conjunction on the 11th of April. This happens in the sign of Aries. What this is going to mean is that for a few days around the 11th, that everyone is going to experience some sort of visibility or perhaps abundance in an area of their life. For you, it may be in your financial sector. It could be getting some sort of an approved time off, holiday time, going on a vacation. And it just looks like business is booming for you, especially those of you who work for a business, have a business of their own, I should say. It could be family run or otherwise. It could be with your partner, your business partner, a romantic partner or spouse, but it's thriving. I guess work couldn't be going better for you, and your ideas that you're putting, you're really seeing some payoff for these big ideas you've been having. Around the end of the month, we have the Four of Wands. I'm going to start clearing up these cards, but to me, it's just more manifestation. The Four of Wands is heralding back to February and March of this year. If you can cast your mind back to February and March when Venus was in Aries, there was something that was due to manifest for you, and it didn't fully manifest. I don't think it was almost like somebody cancelled plans, or an opportunity was temporarily missed or rushed past or glossed over. It seems like by the end of April that comes back into your life in a way where it's more concrete, and whether or not it actually happens at the end of April, you at least know that it's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, then you're pretty sure it's going to happen. Your emotional well-being is, as far as I can see before I pull more cards, I'm actually afraid to pull more cards because this is so beautiful. But let's do it. Let's get into this reading. The emotional well-being, yes, you're like, not only are people saying to you, Gemini, you look so good. What's your secret? I'm so happy to see you doing so well. All those people around you, the pets, the elders, the ancestors, the new generations to come, they're all doing well too. Your children, if you have them, are doing well. Your elders are doing well. Your relationships are doing well. There's reason to celebrate. Home ownership coming through really strongly with these cards. Getting renter's approval, signing a lease, securing somewhere for you to feel very comfortable, to lay down roots, maybe even for the long term. It's all up for grabs this month, okay? Consider subscribing if you haven't already. That would be so wonderful. And I do have a relationship reading which focuses on a important dynamic in your life between you and another person. And that's linked below. It's over on my Patreon channel, which is more exclusive content. When you sign up, that's what you get in exchange. But let's get back into this great month of April. I see a lot of look, this looks like a fabulous pad. You've got everyone around. Queen of Pentacles is so domesticated, so earthly. And it tells me, the Queen of Pentacles says, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing it. It's sustaining. It's going to serve you well. So, if you have to make changes, I'm sensing keep doing what you're doing because it's working. Let's clear up the Queen of Pentacles and what we're working with at the beginning of April. Now, bearing in mind that the eclipses are beginning on the 20th of April this year, but we are in the throes of eclipse season from anytime around the 7th of the month. So that is more of a likelihood for things to change and sort of new beginnings and then endings taking place. And that can be turbulent, volatile, but you have created such a sturdy and safe foundation for yourself. Ace of Swords, so now we're getting our first glimpse of air into the reading. Chef's kiss, even more and more abundance. The Nine of Pentacles. Here at the bottom of the deck, we have the Moon card. So we'll be talking about that eclipse. I think we're going to see more eclipse indicators and lunar indicators towards the end of the reading. So for now, I'm going to put a pin in that and focus on what's here right in front of me. Don't you just love to see it? The 9 to the 10 of Pentacles with the Queen of Pentacles there too. I mean, money is something that isn't everything, we know that, but it is also some energy that is very important to us because we can say, well, I don't want to be materialistic. I don't want to put too much of a focus or emphasis on financial and material prosperity. Well, that's true, and that's wise, of course, and it doesn't bring you a sustaining, lasting happiness, but it surely does feel more comfortable. And as we embark on our spiritual journey and as we come closer to our destiny and living in our alignment to our birth chart and our purpose and all of those things, it's really a damn sight easier to achieve those goals when we don't have certain constraints due to money worries. And it provides a very stable roots chakra, I believe, for us to eventually ascend all the way through up to that crown chakra, connection to source, connection to spirit. That's the Ace of Swords. You're working your way up to a spiritual breakthrough for some, but at the same time, you're human. So enjoy the rewards that are coming through for you. You're being blessed big time this month, in April, Gemini. And not every month is going to be as abundant as the next or the one before. So enjoy it while it's here for you. Enjoy the present moment. Be where your feet are. Really soak up what's here and what's now and how good this all feels. This could feel like hearing the news that somebody's coming to visit you. This could be going on a walk with the family. This could be having plans to go to celebrate with lots of people around, family, friends, loved ones, your nearest and dearest. Isn't that just a little slice of heaven? You have created a little slice of heaven here on earth, Gemini. What is your secret? I bet you hear somebody ask you, what's your secret this month? The Nine of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles is very earthy, very sensual energy. It's Venusian and it's also very feminine. Earth is yin, nocturnal, feminine energy. So it's about receiving, it's about stillness, and it's about pleasure, basically. So you're enjoying the fruits of your labor. You're enjoying the, reaping the rewards of that harvest, be it whatever you collect in your garden, whatever flowers you pick. It could be just enjoying a trip to the farmer's market, or putting something good in your body, fueling your body with healthy, high vibrational foods that really replenish and restore you. Some of you may start experimenting, and this is like a throwback to when we were kids and we would be making our potions by mixing and muddling leaves and plants and petals we found in the garden. Don't you remember bringing in bowls of water and like filling them with like petals from the garden and making your perfumes and things like that? Or is that just me? I don't think so. I think that's something that's very, very subconscious to us. And I can see you doing that, experimenting with art, experimenting with scents and maybe candle making or perfume making, or just experimenting and tweaking beautiful things. Again, Venus is beauty, and it's like this earth magic, and it's sort of earthly magic and medicinal magic, and just I'm seeing herbs from the garden filling your food with good healthy things to eat. I need to take a leaf out of this book, by the way, Gemini, so I'm like, thank you for the inspiration. That's really important. But this is just such healthy energy, so I hope that you're feeling good, but mind, body and soul, because that's what I'm sure seeing at the start of April for you. And we're at these are the end stages of the Pentacles. Like we're really culminating here. We've got that money in the bank. We have multiple streams of income. At least we have the ideas. We have the support from people around us. You could be decorating your home. You could be putting fresh flowers around the place. It's spring in the northern hemisphere, and if you're on the southern hemisphere, this is you going to again, like getting those root vegetables, those autumn vegetables in, and grounding. It's all about grounding here, because this is so like from this part of the body upwards, like the third eye chakra and the crown chakra, this is the intelligence, the imagination. This is your connection to source and your psychic ability and your clairvoyance and your intuition. But before we get there, and before we can just have a clear, peaceful mind, and I think you're there, right? But before any of us can do that, let's just play devil's advocate for a minute here. We really want to feel grounded, like we want to feel safe and secure where we are. If you have achieved that goal, the sky is truly the limit. The Ace of Swords speaks to contracts. It speaks to information coming your way. It speaks to finalizing, signing on the dotted line. It also speaks to clarity, eureka moments, and when you are feeling safe and secure and grounded, and when you feel abundant, and when you feel like no stresses and worries about where the next meal is coming from or where you're going to live. And trust me, look, we know in the collective energy, we can't ignore the fact that these are extraordinary times. With food shortages and supply chain irregularities and even financial distributions. It's not all love and light, don't get me wrong. These things are real, and these things are very problematic and very concerning for many of us. But always the minorities are going to be affected, and people with less material resources are going to feel this. So we're going to count our blessings when we have secured something that feels, for us at least, that I'm in a good place. This is a true blessing to experience this, and a privilege. The Ace of Swords are these realizations, these shifts of your consciousness, like, wow, yes, I can see something now. Somebody makes a comment, and for whatever reason, it hits you right. It touches a nerve, and it just, it's truth. It's a truth bomb coming through to you. So you hear things that make you feel secure at the beginning of the month. You get an email confirmation. Like, confirmations are good things. Affirmations are good things because they make you feel good. Like, for want of a better word, God, get this girl a thesaurus. I'm just gonna have a sip of water. So yeah, get out and ground in the earth, ground in the water. Eat fruits and vegetables, or anything that comes from the earth, herbs and things like that. That can also help you feel grounded. Hug your pets. Bring them outside for the walk, let them soak up the electrons from the earth and recharge your body with those said electrons. Let's look at the middle of the month. Business is booming, family arrangements are underway. You complete a goal, you hit a target, a big one. Let's see what else is coming through. I see for some of you, you may be getting a pet. And I see for some of you being in such a good place in your life right now where you can really enjoy the simpler things, like just like being connected to the animals or being connected to children in your life. Those pure things that sometimes as busy adults we can take for granted, or we can be overly consumed with things that worry us, that bother us, that take us away from the present. But I see you being really present. Bottom of the deck is your energy, the Lovers card. What have we got there? We've got another very powerful energy beside it, the Death card in reverse. So very powerful energies that haven't quite broken through to you yet. They're still at the bottom of the deck. To me, meaning this is on the way in for you. A new relationship could be forming, the Lovers card. A deepening in a connection that already exists, the Lovers card. You're waiting for that breakthrough with your person. The Death card in reverse is the change that you need to make, right? You know that one that you're resisting making? Okay, yeah. The Wheel of Fortune, hi, and the Six of Swords. Okay, so expansion. I talked about that Jupiter-Sun conjunction around the 11th of April. The Sun, visibility, life source, Jupiter, good fortune basically, and growth and optimism. When they meet for a day, roughly a year, in a different place, in a different constellation every time, that part of our birth chart is expanded and exposed, right? So it's typically quite an exuberant few hours, day. Something could happen, and if in your birth chart this is like an aspecting and something natal for you, then you're going to feel it more than others. And for some, it could just be a feeling of optimism. Your train comes on time, your favorite song comes on, somebody holds the door open for you, you smile at a stranger, and it's just like, oh, this is nice. But for others, it's going to be more significant. The Wheel of Fortune, the 10 of Pentacles. The Wheel of Fortune is also a 10. 10 is speaking to completion, achievement, goals, attainment, culmination, crescendo energy. So something big is going to come through, I think around the 11th of April for some of you guys, where you get a raise, you get a bonus, you get a promotion, you get an offer, an opportunity. For some, to travel. The Six of Swords speaks to a journey or a transitional phase, and quite oftentimes it's us in transit, so we're the ones moving along. And the Wheel of Fortune is like, you deserve this, okay? The Wheel of Fortune is about destiny in the tarot, and we have arguments and philosophies about destiny and free will, but according to the tarot, which is what I'm reading, I'm going to talk about destiny, because that's what the Wheel of Fortune is. It's the things that happen in our life when we're just walking down the street, when we miss our train, or when we catch the train early. What happens next? What wouldn't have been possible if that hadn't have happened? And anything significant that comes our way without us actually pursuing it actively. that's fate. That's written for us. That was meant to be. And something meant to be, like a kismet, a synchronization occurs around the 11th of April that you're like, wow, this is obviously meant for me then, you know, and you just feel it. You feel it in your bones. What was I going to, something came to me there about the pentacle cards that we were seeing, and the sort of like, it's written for you, basically these blessings, these rewards, and these like it's reaching really high levels for you. You are supposed to be here. You're supposed to be reaping these rewards. And it's not like necessarily, I'm not talking about karma here, but again, everything is karma and dharma in my world anyway. But karma isn't really how sometimes we can perceive it to be, or at least what I used to think about karma was like, you know, you steal an apple from a store and then, you know, 5 minutes later somebody steals your whole bag of apples, right? Yeah, sure, things like that can happen. But it's more so to do with, well, what's written for us due to perhaps past life experiences, and kind of, you know, the soul contract and the soul's evolution. I think it goes a little bit deeper than just tit for tat. So make no mistake, at least in my opinion, Gemini, for whatever it's worth, the Wheel of Fortune is saying, like, you know, you're meant to be here at this time on this trajectory so that you can handsomely be rewarded for maybe, you know, past life good behavior even, or just by being, you know what, like being in a good high vibration, a high vibration of joy, peace, forgiveness, love, compassion, and empathy and kindness. Well, that's got to count for something, and that's got to be something that we can control in this present lifetime, right? And when we are in those frequencies, we only attract by the laws of the universe. And who am I to argue with the laws of the universe, for real? Like, they are saying that like meets like, the law of attraction, the law of oh, I mean, there's lots of universal laws, but that's what I'm thinking about, like meeting like. So, you know, keeping the vibe high, that's why you're being so rewarded. But about this Lovers in Death card, okay, there is a change that you really know that you need to make, and there's some sort of a resistance to that with the Death card. Let's see if that comes through again. I actually don't think it will. I think we're going to be looking at the eclipses now from the rest of the reading. You're transitioning into some sort of a manifestation. So typically eclipses speak to like more destined. Again, they definitely pertain to destiny in astrology, but they talk about like more significant chapters ending and closing in our life, and beginning and emerging, and like seeds beginning to sprout, even if they're just ideas or conversations to start with. But for some reason, I'm getting the sense that this is like a gradual, you've been leading up to this long before eclipse season. Something about February and March is coming to me and saying like, oh, you thought that somebody was going to visit you then, let's just say they had to cancel, and now they've rescheduled and they're going to come to see you in April, in May and June instead. It's like something that was going to happen didn't happen, and now it is emerging that it's like, oh, this is definitely going to happen for you. But let's have a look at what's happening around the 20th of April onwards. That's the day of the solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. So eclipses pertaining to destiny in astrology, where we can actually look back over every eclipse cycle. They happen every six months, every year. We can really see like our journey, our evolution, and how our destined path has unfolded for us just by tracking the eclipse cycles throughout our life and where they fell in our birth chart. Are we gonna see the moon card again? No. But we're seeing the Three of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. So if you have any Aries or Taurus placements in your chart, Gemini, this is going to be like, at the end of the month is going to be very electric for you, okay? This is more so speaking to Gemini peeps with Taurus and Aries placements, but it's like a good chance that you do have some of these placements because they're the signs that come right before your sign, Gemini. So, you know, Mercury, Venus, or Mars may have been closely around there, and of course the moon as well. Let's look at this though, getting back to just the general gist for Gemini. The Three of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So there's art. I thought about some artwork before. Some of you are creative types, artists, models, sculptors, directors, assistants, even like people who assist, people who curate, people who curate and kind of categorize and choose, and there's a selection process and a decision-making process, and it has to pass by your eyes, Gemini, to deem it worthy for maybe it's selling it or just like showcasing it. But I get the impression that some of you are being led by somebody who is very inspirational in their own craft, and they're teaching you, and you're almost like either the student or maybe you're the mentor yourself. The Three of Pentacles, apart from just what I'm seeing here visually with the artist and these three people. So, I mean, it's not all about just one person here, right? Each of these people has a very valid part to play. You could be you could be finding yourself as part of a trio this month. Towards the end of the month, you kind of maybe it was supposed to be 4 people and one person bows out, something like that. But you may find yourself like, okay, it's the 3 of us, and that's really important for whatever reason for you. As well as that, like you're on a good team. The team works really well with each other. You get along with your workmates, you get along with your buddies, you get along with the people that you're on the society or organization with, or the sports team. It's just flowing really well. I mean, this has just been such a beautiful reading, Gemini. I am so pleased to see such just grounded energy coming through. I mean, if things had been very much up in your mind lately, and I'm talking like maybe like December, January, February, I really see like maybe the turning point in March was like, okay, I'm moving on from that. I'm leaving that in the past. And now you're just enjoying the present for the most part. So long may it last, because the present just looks like heaven at this time. There is a little snag with this Page of Pentacles in reverse, however. This is just somebody in the circle of friends who you're kind of noticing lowers the vibe ever so slightly by the things that they say. The Page of Pentacles is how we speak, how we communicate, and you may be noticing that somebody says things, and it's just talk. I mean, and talk, you know, is one thing, you know, sticks and stones break your bones. I hear that come through. But no, you know, words can hurt, I think, you know, especially when there is intention behind hurting, you know, that somebody actively chooses to use words that they know will have a bad effect on somebody. Well, yeah, that's not great, obviously. So it's just kind of like, you know, watching what you say is important. You can only control yourself, but you may notice that, you know, somebody just like repeatedly has to get the dig in, or has to be the like, you know, just have to be heard. They have to like have the final say, or sometimes they can just dominate completely and not really listen to other people. That's the only thing that I'm getting. Like, you get, and it's just an immaturity. The pages are quite youthful, and in reverse they're kind of bratty, you know, they're immature, and maybe it's just somebody who needs to grow up. And look, if you need to instruct or teach or help, that's up to you. If you wish, you can do that. And you know, I just think enjoy yourself. Oh, I'm excited. Let me know in the comments if you really feel like this has been a breakthrough for you. Like, are you enjoying the present moment? How are you in the present moment, Gemini? I would love to hear from you.